on ESPN. And tonight we are in Athens, Georgia, where the Florida Gators are red hot. They've won 8 of their last 9, 4 in a row. And for a team that has been befuddled by some of their lack of success, this is one of the best starts they've ever had in conference. 8-2, and by the way, they are in first place in the SEC. They come in with a mark of 8-2. Georgia got off to a flying start in the non-conference, leveled off. They're coming off a win against LSU and hope to continue that on their home floor where they play much better. That, of course, is Jimmy Dykes. I'm Carl Ravitch. Welcome, everyone. It's been an interesting watch, the Florida Gators, unranked in their first meeting here against Georgia, and now all of a sudden they lead the conference. What's changed here?
Yeah, they are rolling on both ends of the floor. One of the top 10 defensive teams in the country are the Florida Gators, and the most dominant rebounding team maybe in the last 25, 30 years in college basketball. They're led by a guy with a big Valentine and a huge motor in Thomas Houck. This guy's a typical, just a blue blazer guy, man, can do a little bit of everything for you. A premier cutter without the basketball, flies around that rim for lob plays, gets out in transition, can knock down a timely three, which is so important for Florida. They don't shoot the ball well from the three-point line, but he just has a knock to knock down the big ones. But he is all gas, no brakes for this Florida team. But the guy that kind of has the pulse for Todd Golden.
I like the blue blazer reference. He is versatile, and as you mentioned, man, he can cut like the best of them. Mike White said we got to concentrate on that. And one of the issues tonight for Georgia is Jeremiah Wilkinson is not playing.
Yeah, out with what he says is a sore shoulder. Their leading scorer, but still Georgia is built with their system, Ravi, to try to get the game in the high 80s or 90s. Can they do it against a defensive team like Florida and a rebounding team? Man, that's a big ask.
It is a big ask, and they were out-rebounded by 21 in that first meeting. Part of the issue was Santo Surreal, the big guy for Georgia, was thrown out of that game early after throwing an elbow, and there he is making his presence felt by picking off a pass. This is a Georgia team that scores 98.2 points a game at home, one of the best in the nation. As Ross finds a cutting Kane, Chinyelu was there, and he impacted the play. Now Fland on the other end, up and in with a left.
And how good has Boogie Fland been the last 3 weeks? He's doing everything at an elite level other than shooting the three ball. And Ruben Kenyon, the Defensive Player of the Year, in my estimation, triggered the break.
And it all started with Chinyelu's defense, which forced Kane into a bad pass. We'll talk a lot about Chinyelu and his defensive effort. Ouch. Yeah, they're both down. Surreal is in pain under the basket as he and Chinyelu got tied up. And Surreal got the worst of that match.
And that is two big bodies, man, banging into each other. Surreal checks in at 6'11", 260. Ruben Chinyelu, 6'10", 265.
That was Condon he banged into, actually.
And
then Chinyelu fell on him, all 265.
Kind of speaks to the physicality that Florida plays with across their front line.
It's an NBA front court the Florida Gators have. Mike White says it's by far the best in the country. Ross's three is off. And Chinyelu, a double-double machine, 14 of those, gets the rebound. Florida's lineup, Fland and Lee have not shot well at all, but Fland has really settled into that point guard role. And how Condon and Chinyelu as a threesome are just rock solid.
Ravi, if you're Georgia, there's no reason to get overextended outside that three-point line to start this game.
Yeah, there's an example of it as Xavier Lee didn't even draw iron, so the shot clock is at 5 for Fland. He sees a little lane, it gets closed off, but he's got 4.
But that's the shot you want if you're Georgia for Florida to settle for. Tough twos in this game allows Georgia to hang in this thing.
Dylan James with the ball is the guy that is starting with Wilkinson out, and you can see he was just denied any access by Condon. They're 0 for 3 early.
Tough two taken by James. He had 16 in the first ball game. Hadn't been in double figures but one time since.
Fland looking for 5 and 6 off the window. Chinyelu had it, and Georgia will push the pace. Corner 3 is open. Blue Kane. No good. Down to the ground goes Surreal again. They got numbers, and here's Houck. How about the defense by Georgia? Back the other way. Condon knows an alley-oop could come.
Wow!
So he denies Kane.
Are you kidding me?
Xavier Lee dumps it off. Condon was prepared for the alley-oop, settled and realized I can block Blue Cane.
I mean, he backed off and waited for Blue Cane and took the challenge.
Georgia trying to make their first bucket, still cannot do it. Lee, up and in.
And
Wow.
Florida can rip that ball off the defensive glass and get out with team speed. That's the best that this league has to offer. But, man, you won't see a better individual defensive play in the open court than what Alex Condon just did. Man.
0 for 4 to start. We'll show it to you when we come back.
15th block in SEC play leads Florida. I mean, he's set back right on the front side of Surreal, waiting for Blue Cane to make a decision. Are you going to come at me or not? And as soon as he left the ground, bam, Kondo just goes up, gets all ball up top. You talk about winning a collision at the rim. Alex Condon just did it as well as you can.
What's that old thing about being a fly or the windshield?
Yeah, well, he was definitely the windshield. Well, they are so good, Florida, defensively. Not just around the rim, but out on the perimeter, making life miserable right now in SEC play.
Where will the points come from for Georgia with a guy that averages 17 a game on the bench? How many times have we seen a Bulldog in the paint on the ground? Penetration against Lee, difficult fadeaway, and they still haven't made a basket.
Ruben Chinyelu, one of the better defensive rebounders percentage-wise in the country, which tags along with why I think he's the best defensive player overall.
Georgia 0 for 6 to start. Condon's their point guard out top. He's a terrific passer. When he was young, he was a guard that brought the ball up the court all the time. Hauk! No, but he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Of course, Todd Golden is the head coach of the Florida Gators. We had a long conversation with him about the evolution of this Florida basketball team compared to last year's. Very different in their guard play last year where they had professional players in the backcourt.
Yeah.
Now they get them in the front.
Well, they're priding themselves on hitting singles. And what he means by that when he talks to his team is, we're going to defend at a high level on every possession. We're going to dominate the glass. And our guard play just has to be good. It doesn't have to be great. We're not relying on the three-point shot. And man, that magic formula is working so well for the 14th ranked team in the country.
Now knocks down a couple of free throws. That's another issue for Florida, their free throw shooting. But they got an 8-0 lead to start here as Georgia is 0 for 6 from the floor. Smurf Millender buried in the corner with Condon and Lee double teaming him. He's in trouble down there, and Lee takes it away. And they got an easy run out flange, got 6 of their 10.
Ravi, it's not just Chinyelu that is an elite ball screen defender. It's also Condon came off of it, put 2 on the ball, and Florida gets the turnover in the corner.
Justin Bailey into the game. Look at the help by Condon. That led the ball to go out of bounds. It is relentless, this defense, Jimmy.
Yeah, relentless, but it's multiple guys. Look at Kondo right there come off of it, and he and Lee just suck up that airspace. Actually stepped out of bounds before the turnover, but regardless, it's Florida's defense right now that has shot them out of their starting blocks. They rip it off the glass, they rip it off turnovers, finish by Boogie Flynn.
Long time ago, Florida was unranked, Georgia was ranked, and watch Blue Cane go up, and then this altercation, and right there, Santos Surreal threw a left hook at Chinyelu. Early in the game, he was thrown out. Todd Golden encouraged him being thrown out. As a result, a plus 21 rebound advantage and a 15-point win in that game, Florida over Georgia. And we've seen the physicalness already continue tonight.
Well, anytime Florida plays Georgia in anything, the rivalry goes to another level. And Thomas Houck from Florida earlier this week said, flat out, we don't like Georgia at all. If you thought Florida was going to overlook this game with Kentucky coming up on Saturday, check that box no, because a 10-0 start, and defensively is where they're doing it.
A little reminiscent of the A&M game. They started out 1 for 27. Look at Condon's defense. Forced Millen to do a near turnover and still can't get one to go as they have been scoreless because they haven't made a bucket at all tonight. It's a miserable start.
The only thing Georgia's getting is tough twos looks, and they're only getting one of those per possession.
And there's the deflection, and let's see if Georgia, who wants to run, can get one to go through the basket. Millender, well, he got hooked, and they didn't call it. It was Fland who hooked him with the left arm. Condon, that's no good. Handlockton's in, another 6'11 guy, 7 feet. He picked up an offensive rebound. They'll lay off Flan, let him shoot it from 3. Clavshar is the best three-point shooter, along with Hauk, and he launches, and that's off. Cannon Catchings, is he gonna take a turn? Nope. Yes. There it is. Cannon Catchings, 23 in a game against LSU. He's been their scorer, 23, 14, and 22 in his last 3 games.
Yeah, he's a bucket getter. You don't have to run plays for Cannon Catchings. He's all of 6'9" with a high release. He's going to have a 20-point night.
Clavshar, he's the one you can't leave open, and he knocks it down.
And he is money, shooting 47% Ravi from 3 over the last 5 games. The one guy that you have got to suck up that airspace on the catch.
Kane, hard drive, and a physical one as Flan found the hardwood.
Say that 3 times.
Flan found the hardwood.
Georgia whipping all that ball screen action with Flan. Whipping means they're going under everything. Seeing if Boogie Flan will take the bait for pull-up jump shots.
Kane again, hard.
Wow,
oh,
wow.
Man. No denying that time by Condon. Blue saw red and a green light special over Condon. And he's there defensively to knock it away.
Blue Kane leads Georgia on the year in the plus-minus stats. And he got his world rocked by Condon to start this game, but give me a second opportunity and he gets downhill. A little bit of zoom action, but man, the next time he comes at Condon right here, man, that is not easy to do. Just so quick off the ground. Blue Kane's just a winner.
You mentioned the plus-minus. He was plus 21 in the win over LSU. That's memorable right there.
I love Blue Kane, man. He just, the DNA of this team kind of sets on his shoulders out of Knoxville Catholic High School.
6'5", Flushing over 6'11". Good fight back from Georgia. Lee, 3, bottom.
Ravi, he shoots it so much better than his numbers would back it up. I just don't think you go under Xavier Lee and let him start seeing a good rim if you're Georgia.
Kane wants it. He's not a very good three-point shooter. He missed that. In fact, his number's 17% in conference. Brown, that's also good, and the Gators, after the Georgia comeback, have thrown back-to-back threes.
And those bigs from Florida, they set such physical screens, man. If you melt it all, it's an open look for Florida.
Get the whistle on Xavier Lee.
These screens are SEC screens. Look at Handlockton, bam, just burying that gray jersey, getting him hung up, and that ball gets swung. Another one set over here by Hauk. Pretty simple offense. 3 perimeter players working around 2 big physical screeners. Simple offense, hard to guard.
Smurf Millender isn't going to launch one from that far out. Height advantage here against Lee. Good defense to stay in front of him. And Catchings was denied. 10 on the shot clock. Surreal rolls. Millender pulls up and knocks it down, and Santos Surreal is down again. Twice he has been down in pain, and he's grabbing at his midsection.
Well, that's one they'll look at. Those blows to the midsection and the head area pretty much are automatics for those officials to go to the monitor just to see how and why the contact occurred.
Jimmy, we're going to take a timeout here as they look at it, but we'll let you see what they're about to look at.
The previous action during the shot on the rebound is under further review. This is an official initiated review. This will also be inside the window of our 12-minute media timeout.
Excessive unnecessary right there from behind. That is an F1. Excessive unnecessary contact on Blue.
Refs will look at it.
ESPN.
Right back here, the officials took a look at it and decided this was not an F1.
Well, they're going to call this a meet and greet. They went to the monitor, Ravi. You can't go to the monitor and call a common foul, which they missed. That is certainly a common foul. by 23 in blue. But to me, it should have been escalated to an F1. I thought that was excessive, unnecessary by Brown to come in with a hard check on a Surreal who's rolling blindly down the middle.
Have you ever been to a meet and greet where that's how you get?
No, that's not listen. It's in an alley at night. That was certainly a miss of a common foul, and I would have had no problem with that being an F1 as well.
So our score 19-10, flying start for Florida. Georgia finally got their first points. Then they went on a 3-for-3 run. Florida, by the way, has actually shot well from three-point land. That's been Lee and Clavshar. Boogie Fland is off to a great start as well offensively. That's blocked from behind.
Florida only allowing 7 fast break points in the last 8 or 9 games. So good at getting the defense set.
Boy, Jake Wilkins forced into a bad shot. He's into the game. And that one is blocked by Surreal. And a little push into the back of out. Next here, Jimmy, Humphrey Coliseum, the Hump in Starkville. It is Nate Ament. What did you say last game about Ament?
Yeah, give me an amen.
Get you an amen. They've betting a lot of amens. Tennessee takes on Mississippi State. Roy Philpott, Richard Hendricks will have the call following this one. Out to the stripe, free throw, good.
Nate Ament has grown up in front of our eyes over the last month. Working his way up that mock draft right now, but he is a handful, embracing physicality. Describing him all year long as a 5-star talent and a 10-star person. And not a more difficult cover right now in the league than Nate Ament. He had 29. He lost it up Saturday night.
Tennessee's challenge is going to be stopping Josh Hubbard. And of course, last year you'd have any number of guys from Meshack or Ziegler. They don't have that guy this season.
Meshack getting a start for the Memphis
Grizzlies.
17 points.
Three-pointer, way short. Blue Kane deflected it, but there's a whole bunch of blue shirts there to pick it up. It's Clavshar. Condon back in the game. Smaller lineup right now for Florida with Brown and Lee joining Clavshar. Chinyalu and Surreal are just banging down low.
Yeah, they're meeting and greeting each other, aren't they?
Chinyalu throws it up there, can't get it to go. A lot of one-on-one for Georgia against Clavshar. The finger roll up and in.
Now they are very good, Georgia, off the mound. Here it is again. That overall team speed, they just hammer you, man. They rip that ball off the glass or out of the net and flood the floor with speed at all 5 spots.
Very good on flood the floor, not easy. Ross, that's Condon just kind of waiting there. The Condor can spread those arms to about a 7'2" wingspan. Well, of course, our buddy Mike White now coaching the Georgia Bulldogs, but he took Florida in his 7 seasons there, 15-22 to 4 NCAA tournament appearances. And then this is I wouldn't say soft, but it's a great landing spot. He loves it here.
Well, he has found out who he is offensively this year. This team he put together out of the portal, Ravi, piece by piece. Mike White said, we're going to become a 3-point shooting, pressure, up and down the floor team. And he loves where his guys at are offensively. He understands defensively. They still have a notch or 2 to go.
Lee once again behind the big screen set by Condon. He's got James on him, giving up 5 inches and a bullet pass that Chinyalu couldn't handle.
I will say this about Georgia's defense so far, though. They're swarming on the interior, and they're swarming with physical play. Mike White told his guys today, we can't go in there reaching and grabbing. We've got to go in there body to body, chest to chest. And a pretty decent job so far the first half.
5 field goals for Georgia to their one-on-one approach. They don't have any assists. They're shooting 5 of 17, 29%, 5 of 18 as they miss one in the paint. All of this dictated by the Gators defense. Thomas Houck gets set to check back in. Lee fires a 3, and I agree with you. That is a good shooter who hasn't been able to make many shots yet.
Yeah, Florida takes advantage of that heavy drop coverage off of Lee, and man, he shoots that thing with confidence.
Difficult two. Offensive rebound absent. Back up. Another one missed. Two more misses for Georgia. And Florida in danger of turning this into a blowout, but Flan threw it up amongst three Bulldogs. Kane again. Lee had been 1 for his last 14 from 3. The only guy shooting worse was Flan. But tonight, different story for Xavier Lee. Millender with 2 on the shot clock. Gets a big screen, throws it up, around and out.
Look at Chinyelu. He's out there at the three-point line as the ball's released. He's at the rim for the rebound. There's not a better defender in college ball than Ruben Chinyelu, number 9 in blue.
7 rebounds in the game already for Chinyelu. Lee, of course, a star in Princeton, throws another one up. That was a little off balance. Chinyelu picks up his 8th board. Can't get it to go as Absent was there. Jimmy, it feels like Florida's getting the shots they want, and Georgia is struggling every time down.
Chinyelu just owns the front of the rim defensively on the glass. Absolutely owns it.
Brown, high arcing 3, finds the bottom. And the Gators are showing we can do more than just pound it inside.
Ravi, if Florida three-point shooting gets above 30% on the year, they are legit Final Four national title contender again.
They got 6 of them so far, about 58%.
Now watch this. You're going to go drop coverage. Xavier Lee just with ease steps into one off that side bounce. And Brown has become the 3rd guy you've got to be concerned with. You get hung up on a big physical screen. What can Brown do for you? He can knock. It's the right scout when you take on Florida. But here's the issue with Florida, Ravi. They're now 5 out of 9 from the three-point line in this game, 55%. Why is that number so important for Florida? We've never had a team make the Final Four shooting below 30% from the three-point line. We've only had one Elite 8 team. That was Marquette back in 2013. Currently right there, 29% on the year, Florida for the three-point line. If that number gets 30 or above, man, keep an eye on this team to get to that Final Four again.
So are these shots at the rim in which they're not even drawing iron like that because of the presence of Condon and Handlockton and out?
It's just a constant big blue wall that Georgia's having to maneuver through around that rim.
They have missed 6 layups. It's going to be an illegal screen. I think it's on Clavshar as Ross is on the ground. They've missed 6 layups.
Well, Florida will do that to you. It's one thing to get the ball near the rim against Florida. It's another thing to finish. And over their last 8 or 9 ball games, Florida has outscored in the paint, Ravi, 436 to 270. That's how dominant they are in that painted area.
Ironically, Georgia has 145 dunks this season. 145 of them amongst the leaders in the nation. But against this team, that's very hard to do. Staggs open. And that's also in and out. Surreal. Waiting to go up and do that.
I thought maybe he ball faked one too many times, but he did not. A good job of keeping his feet on the wood.
Houck tries to answer. He gets it to Condon. That's too easy.
There's not a faster small forward in college ball than Thomas Houck in the open floor. There's not one.
Surreal ran right into Condon, another block, and he took that in the kisser. Lee kicked Clavshar, and he'll wait. Good defense, really good defense. That's a steal for Bailey. Takes it inside, and look at the size that he ran into.
And the principle of verticality, there's none better in this league than Florida.
How can Lee play catch? And then Thomas Houck throws one over. Boy, Santos Surreal is still grabbing at his nose, eye, mouth area. A 3 ball is a brick off the backboard.
You don't want to take a contested 3 when you're playing 4 on 5. Florida most likely will make him pay.
Yeah, Hauk tries it again. Can't make him pay. Loose ball, Georgia.
Both teams look gassed, do they not?
Felt like slow motion on the trip up this way for Bailey. Yeah, I think Surreal is completely gassed. We got hockey substitutions coming in, 3 for each team, as we get set for a line shift. We're going to foul and a whistle down low. It's going to be called against the Florida Gators, and it looks like it's going to be against Clavshar. Jimmy, ABC women's basketball doubleheader Sunday afternoon. Sunday, Toby Fournier, number 11 Duke. They take on North Carolina, the Battle of the Blues at 1 Eastern, and then Madison Booker. It feels like every college basketball women's promo has Madison Booker and 4th-ranked Texas playing. And Talasia Cooper, number 22, Tennessee. It'll be in Knoxville. Both available on the ESPN app.
It was a major, massive opportunity for Tennessee to start maybe working their way into one of those top 16 teams that could host the first and second round. Right now they're on the outside looking in. Tim Caldwell was very disappointed in their performance over the weekend at South Carolina.
Right now, Ruben Chinyelu, and the official, and Chinyelu is a personable guy, but you rarely see a conversation with an official like that. KB Burdett was willing to listen. Chinyelu's footwork is ideal. Three-pointer, that one is going to count. Kareem Stagg had one go in and out, and that time he found the bottom.
A really good fill behind by Stagg. Have a violent cut to get himself open. Man, can Georgia get stopped? That's the issue right now.
Recuts, he's open, and he lays it up in a nice pass by Hauk.
Those bigs are so skilled, Ravi. You can run offense through them, and Todd Golden does it as well as anybody using bigs out on the floor.
33-17, red hot shooting for Florida, especially from deep. Inside, that one's off the window and good.
I think you've got to go at Florida. I know they're going to block your shot some. You're going to lose some collisions, but you can't concede. You've got to go into their bodies if you're Georgia or anyone.
For all the effective shots at the glass, they still only have 2 blocks, this Florida. 3-ball, corner, pocket, good.
If they get him going, talking about Brown, he's all of 6'7", watch out.
Back the other way, Chinyelu was there to affect that shot as well. Another missed layup.
Chinyelu has now 10 rebounds in the game.
Chinyelu is in double figures in rebounds.
I mean, the Krivas kid at Arizona has been mentioned as well as National Player of the Year defensively. He's terrific protecting the rim. Chinyelu protects the entire half court. An explosive athlete into ball screen coverage. I mean, he's the real deal.
Brown tries again. No good this time. An easy left-handed layup. They are now imposing some of their offensive will.
That's where Georgia has had their success offensively, is in transition.
No shooter's touch. They're doing a good job keeping Chinyelu off the glass. Kane, good hands by Hauk. That may have gone off of Kane, and it did. Thomas Hauk blew that play up.
Well, Florida out to a 15-point lead. They do it so many ways on both ends of the floor, but watch Thomas Hauk right there. Just the skill level, the presence, and the hard time cut by Lee. Then Hauk drives it, grabs a piece of the paint, absorbs the contact, throws a strike. Florida rolling early.
Coach, why is this Florida team an easy team to coach?
Well, they got this 8-man rotation. Jimmy, you know about 8-man rotations. You got a point sub, a wing sub, and a front court sub. Everyone's happy. Everyone understands and embraces and champions their role. 8-man rotation. Oh, by the way, they defend you on the ball, they defend you at the rim, they get to the glass, and they score in transition. Besides that, they have no problems.
Seth, you're right. I mean, that's the description of a Final Four team waiting to happen. It all starts on the defensive end with Ruben Chinyelu right there, number 9. I just think he's the most impactful defender in all of college ball. I asked Todd Golden about it today. You look what they've done in the first halves of the last 2 ball games, 22% overall. But Todd said first of all, his voice is imposing. He talks to the ball as well as anybody I've ever had. He can impact the ball screen any way you want it. He's a star on-ball defender, one-on-one in the post. We don't have to double. He's got his guy all the time. This defensive versatility again. Badunga and Krivas in the Big 12, they are tremendous, Ravi, defending the rim. This guy defends the entire half court. That's why I think he's the best in the country.
Interesting story on his road to college basketball. 2022 NBA Academy Games in Atlanta. His team finished first. Washington State fell in love with him. They got him. And then he went into the transfer portal, ended up here in Florida. His family's still all back in Nigeria. But there is a joy about the way he plays.
Yeah.
Good job absorbing contact by Millender.
There's a joy and a gratitude about him, right, when you're around him?
Lee up and in, and they continue to pound after Georgia scores. That's their 12th fast break point of the half.
They get it net to net in about 3 seconds, talking about Florida.
Yep, and they give them opportunities when they take quick one-and-done shots. A 40-23 lead.
And Ravi, when you consider that Chinyalu already has 10 defensive rebounds in this game, that's a big part of a defensive player. Are you finishing off the possession? And he does.
Take a look at this. This was a clinic in defense against one of the better players in college basketball. He starts on LeBaron Philon, and then he kind of gets tired, so he finds another dance partner.
Well, he's 6'10 and 265, and then he takes on Reitzel. And I just haven't seen a big in college basketball in the country that can do all the things that this cat does night after night after night. And
never once reached in either,
no,
Jimmy. He did it all with his feet.
How did Todd describe him? He said he's a man bear.
Yeah.
A half man, half bear. And that's exactly what this guy is. But such a joy to talk and get to know. And I've mentioned he wears number 9 because it's tied to his favorite Bible verse. And he's about a lot of the right stuff that coaches love.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the Seth Greenberg comment, too, about having this 8-man rotation. It's the quality of the character of those 8 men as well, and Chinyalu is the leader. When you think about it, Chinyalu, Hauk, etc., they were not heavily recruited. Lee, is it another fast break? And denied there, and he had a couple of trailers. He didn't see him. He went all Roadrunner, and there were 2 Georgia Bulldogs there to try to knock it away.
Roadrunners don't look behind them.
No.
Man, their speed, though, I said it before, you can watch Florida on film, and they look fast, and then sitting courtside, you're like, oh, there's a whole nother truck coming at us, man. They get the ball net to net in about 3 seconds.
Because it's guys like Hauk and Chinyalu who are as fast as many of the guards that we see.
They're fast with their feet, and they're fast with their pass ahead.
Largest lead of this first half. It has been all Florida as we are under a minute to go. Fland, no good. Chinyalu, another rebound, brought it down, threw it up, gets it to go.
He's got a lot of Oscar Tshiebwe in him as a rebounder. Tshiebwe, as we know, took that all the way to the National Player of the Year. Wow! Wow!
That'll help the crowd out a little bit as Kareem Stagg throws it down, but they still trail by 18. And those were the first 2 points of the night for Chinyalu. The other way, he's got all those rebounds.
Small thing, Todd Golden just literally told his guys, don't pick the ball up. I want to make sure we get the last shot of the half. Had they picked it up earlier, there'd be another 6 or 7 seconds for Georgia to work with to close out this half.
Remember, Georgia scores 98 points a game at home. This Florida defense has stifled them tonight, and that one out of bounds. It'll be Georgia basketball. They'll get a chance with 6.5 to go.
Man, the rack attacks in this game have been vicious, and seldom does Chinyalu get beat like that, and Florida doesn't load to the ball side. Chinyalu just went to the wrong angle and got low, and Hauk said, go ahead.
Last chance here for Georgia. Smurf Millender has it. Chinyalu comes out to help him, and up and in.
Yeah.
A Smurf.
Ravi, Florida had a foul to give. I believe Florida only had 14 fouls, and they could have given one there at the timeline. And a big momentum basket. I know what the lead is, but turns the corner, and Hauk doesn't rotate over quick enough, and a great job by a small guard. Look how high he gets this ball up on that right corner. It's actually above the right square. Really well done.
His timing was impeccable. By the way, Georgia held to 27, fewest first half points this season. Halftime report is ready to roll, 40-30-27. See on ESPN, and a dominant first half from the Florida Gators. Their defense has been stifling, including that block. Alex Condon on Blue Kane. Check this stat out, Jimmy. The last 3 games and 1 half, Florida has trailed for 9 seconds. Wow. That is how dominant they've been in their last 3 games against A&M, Bama, and South Carolina, and doing it here tonight. Welcome back inside Stegeman Coliseum. Not like the home court advantage has helped Georgia very much. They're not shooting well. Florida's doing just about everything right, and maybe more than usual, making threes.
Yeah, well, it started with Xavier Lee for Florida, who came into this ball game, only made 1 out of his last 14. But I said it earlier, his release and his rotation on the ball is much better than the numbers would indicate. Yeah, Georgia gave him the bait and he took it. He also made some good hard back cuts. He hasn't had a turnover in the first half. And the overall team speed for Florida, I continue to talk about, is a real problem for college basketball. They run off with their turnovers. They even run off of makes. Look at this last one. Georgia makes the basket, and Condon gets out in front and dunks it on the other end with 27 on the shot clock. That's how aggressive and how much force Florida brings to the defense.
If they become a three-point shooting team, and Brown and Lee, watch out is right.
Yeah. As normal, Florida up 25-17 on the glass. Florida has only been out-rebounded 1 time all year, first game of the year, and that was by Arizona. Since then, they have dominated everybody on the backboard.
Georgia shoots 26 free throws a game in the first half. They didn't shoot 1.
It's defend without fouling. Florida, as physical as they are, they're so good keeping their hands off of you and using their bodies.
Stags, Surreal is there, and that's a nice start for the Bulldogs. Now they got to turn it up on D.
Good job to drag those bigs up on a ball screen coverage, knock them off, and Surreal with a smart, fast find of the ball.
Chinyelu had only 2 points in the first half. Hauk had only 4 points. He was 0 of 5 from the floor, and yet they were up 43-27.
Yeah. So Georgia closes out the half on a make, and they start the second half on a make. They won the last minute of this ball game, but watch Surreal. He's going to step up, and Chinyelu has to come over to the ball, and Condon just doesn't rotate back. Nobody comes off to tag the roll guy. I know he's a big guy to tag, but 2 in gray. Everything just opened up.
Points in the paint in this one, 20 for Georgia, 18 for Florida. As Flan takes a 3, it looked off and it was off, and some contact underneath. Burdett is there. And not a surprise, Chinyelu and Surreal. And Burdett said we're going to look at this.
That could be a double foul. A double common foul of both Chinyelu and Surreal. We showed in the first half, Surreal got after Chinyelu down in Florida with an elbow. A little bit of bad blood between these 2 teams.
This play is under
See if there's a hook and hold in here somewhere too, Jimmy.
That's both guys just getting all tangled up, but I think that's a really good, quick call by the officials to go with double foul on Chinyelu and Surreal.
Just underway, second half, official review. We'll take a timeout.
A double foul on action. This is what we're looking at right here. Now, as this thing goes on, I think you're going to see Chinyelu, you could argue, has a hook and hold right there. He's got him clamped down, and then he comes down.
The double foul
doesn't let up on it.
Is confirmed. Those fouls are on 9 from Florida, 2 from Georgia. Since this was an off-ball foul, it's when the foul occurs and not when it's recognized. So there was no possession, meaning Florida will get the ball off the alternating possession arrow with 20 on the shot clock since the ball hit the rim on the baseline.
Well, I understand the double foul was called immediately. A really good catch by KB Burdett, but I think that's a hook and hold, why that rule was put in. And to me, Chinyelu had him hooked up and dragged him to the ground, which could lead to an injury.
Sure can.
Officials saw it differently.
And they do a great job, but that certainly looked like it rose to the level of a hook and brought him down. And now they get the ball, and Condon missed the layup. Chinyelu missed the layup as well. Now it's Keene. They get a chance, Jimmy, to get this thing into a place where they can feel a lot better about themselves.
Georgia won the last 7 seconds of the first half and the first 30 seconds of the second half. And they're a basket away from Florida feeling more pressure than they have in a long time.
Catchings, no good. Surreal kept it alive. I think Flan does particularly well, man. He defends. Kane didn't want the three, takes it underneath to Surreal. That's no good, no whistle. And Lee runs out with Houck, 2-on-2. Chinyelu fills in, Lee. It stays on the floor. They call that on Surreal. Men's Hoop, Jimmy, you'll see Tennessee 6 o'clock Eastern time against LSU on the SEC network. That's Saturday. And then South Carolina gets Alabama at 8:30 Eastern time. And of course, the Charles Bediako thing has been put to bed. He has been ruled ineligible. So he returned for a handful of games, and that's it. Lee blocked at the rim. Ellender's three, they need it, can't get it. Kane, no. Watch it. Boy, Surreal again. The defense of Florida forced it. Kane throws it up. That's no good. And Chinyelu is going to get called for a walk.
Well, Georgia's starting to scrap in this game. Got, what, 2 or 3 offensive rebounds on that one possession. If not, man, Florida will just punk you on the glass, and Georgia having no part of it. They have been the aggressor first 2.5 minutes of this second half.
You got Santos Surreal warming up like he is about to throw one down and ends up taking a circus shot. Kane, not a great three-point shooter, but he knocked it down, and they are now within 11. Five different shot attempts that trip for Georgia. Chinyelu uses his body and missed it. No.
Revy, Georgia has changed up how they're covering Xavier Lee this half. They're not going over the top of those ball screens because of those made threes in the first 20 minutes.
That ball blown up. Kane with Condon behind him. Throws it down and he's blocked with it. And we're going to get a foul on Condon. That one was nearly halfway down and then out. Those two have had some altercations in this game, haven't they?
They are taking it personal out in that open floor around the rim. And Condon just gets stripped. He gets lazy with that ball with a dribble handoff. It shows it early. And man, Blue Kane, the toughness that this kid plays with. Talked about it earlier. He leads Georgia for the year on the plus minus. And that's normally tied to how hard a dude plays. And that is 0 in grit.
86% free throw shooter at the line, averaging 10 a game in the SEC. And to your point, those were the words that are used around him. Just quote-unquote tough dude.
Yeah.
Scoring is down about 5 from the non-conference, but how about the start to the second half for Georgia?
He's just a solid 9-10 point culture guy. Low turnover, just 1 turnover every 30 minutes, talking about Blue Kane. We got a game right now.
Yeah, an 11-0 run going back to the end of the first half for the Bulldogs. Take a look at what Florida has done. 0 for 6. They've been outscored by 7. Klafschar and Brown, the two better three-point shooters into the game for Florida. Hand-locked and also on the front line. Kane is on hand-locked, and you talk about a height advantage. Houck shot. Got it, man. That is at the end of the shot clock.
I told you, he just has a knack to make timely threes for Florida, and a good feel by Lee. One-handed pass with a short clock.
Foul on Isaiah Brown.
Xavier Lee, the ball came to him. He's going to give it with one hand right here. Boom, boom. And Thomas Houck with great footwork and discipline to drag that right foot behind the line to get 3 instead of a long 2.
Another example of his improving game.
Yeah.
You can see in the lower left, projected as a top 10 pick in the NBA draft.
Well, Georgia's switching everything right now to start this half.
Clavshar. Boy, they buried two now back to back. Houck and Clavshar. And an air ball on the other side, and it'll be Georgia basketball.
Well, Florida comes in only making 7 3-point shots in conference play. And for the night now, Florida has banged in 8 overall at 50%. Thomas Houck, first guy up, sprints out, drags that right foot back with good discipline, lets it fly with a really high snap and release on that basketball. And then there's Clavshar, the one guy you cannot go under. Clavshar rise, release.
Saturday when Kentucky rolls into town, but that hasn't been the case obviously with a 15-point lead. What is the case is how much better Kentucky is playing. And it's not just Otega Owe, but guys like Brandon Garrison contributing in a much bigger way. That's a foul on Handlock in his return to live action. But a chance there, Jimmy. First place on the line as far as loss column goes, Florida and Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky's got all week off to rest and prepare. I'm sure they're watching tonight. That will be a heated O-Dome on Saturday on ABC. You and I will be there. First place in the SEC is going to be at stake.
Georgia had it down, and Kane working on Brown, throws it up and in. Blue Kane, physical.
I don't know how good of a basketball player he is. He is a 10 out of 10, though, as a Bulldog competitor.
Yeah.
And those guys just have a way to win, man.
Be a hell of a player in a driveway game,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Last guy you'd want to have on the other team. They had Lee trapped in the corner, and they allowed him to get him a hand locked with 8 on the shot clock. Brown, the lefty, goes to his right, can't get it to go, out of bounds. And it will stay with the Gators.
Ready to go back to Blue Kane. I mean, just overall guts and how hard he fights. He's caught in a mismatch right there and goes right at the size. Elevates and separates at the same time. And Mike White will tell you, if there's one guy that understands his culture more than anyone else, it is Zero in Gray.
Houck, and that's going to be a foul. We'll see if it's on Surreal. No, it's not on Surreal. They give that one to Catchings.
I mean, Georgia is only being out-rebounded by 5 in this game. And what you can't do is get out-rebounded by 21 like they did last time. So that's a win for Georgia. Although the score is still a 13, 14-point game, they're hanging in there on the glass. Because Georgia came in tonight dead last in the SEC, allowing 41% on the offensive glass.
So all week you preach that, right? Hey, we gotta rebound, rebound, and they're doing that.
Yeah, they're rotating down with force. They're swarming the ball with physicality, just doing a lot of good things because they just muster enough offense now in the second half.
A little silver lining for Houck, who was a 76% free throw shooter in conference, 6 of 6 from the floor. From the free throw stripe, I should say, and only 1 of 6 as far as field goals go. Get into the tournament, you're going to have to make free throws. Bounce pass, Surreal, blown up by Brown, but he's going to get whistled for it.
Surreal is either fouling or getting fouled right now in every possession. Too great. He is a roughhouse guy, man. Setting ball screens, diving out of them. Just massive action inside that jersey. He is a load.
6'11", 260.
Yeah.
Got away with a couple of palms here, the way he's handling that ball. And hand locked and chested up, and he got whistled. You're right, he's continuing the theme of fouling or getting fouled.
Because he fouled twice, but he got fouled 3 times. So odds are the whistle goes in his direction.
Got 5 whistles already against Florida. They had 4 the entire first half. We only had 7 fouls in the first half. Millender to his left. And he also got it knocked away. Still loose. Out of bounds, and will be Florida basketball. Blue Kane just threw it in. That was the roar of the crowd, but it was more for the fun.
Ready to finish up my thoughts on Surreal. He has a 12% block rate when he's on the floor, which means 12 out of every 100 shots he blocks. That's the 8th best ratio in the country. makes 75% of his shots because he makes. I think he's taken 1 3 in his career, like he knows who he is. And there he is on that block shot leader list.
2 guys from Georgia on that list, along with Sherrill from Alabama. One more time, Jeremiah Wilkinson, leading scorer, not playing in this game. He's got some shoulder soreness, so Georgia's star not in the game tonight.
Shoot it.
Thought about it, now he will. Can't get the roll, hand locked and rips it away. Down low, Hauk kicks it, and that's Klavshar, and that's no good. Hauk in traffic, Jimmy, had probably a layup if he wanted it. Brown nearly took it away from Kane. That's a near impossible shot. They're going to get Brown again. And boy, has he picked up 3 quick fouls. And one more time, Surreal finds himself on the ground and in pain as he is either fouling or getting fouled.
Surreal is a native of Nigeria. Takes another shot to the midsection. Played his high school basketball overtime elite in Atlanta. He's getting better by the bounce. It's kind of how I describe this guy right now.
He's also getting more injured by the bounce in this game.
He and Bishop Boswell from Tennessee, they just have a knack, don't they? The nose is a magnet for an elbow or the ball.
7th team foul against Florida, while Georgia has only 3. But this has been probably as painful a game as Santos Surreal has dealt with.
Well, Mike White-New coming in. Can his team hold up on the inside? Because in game 1, Ravi, the Florida Gators got 21 makes at the rim, 11 dunks, and 10 layups. They didn't have that, not just to Georgia. They do that all year long to opponents, the Florida Gators do. They are built inside out.
Now, it looks like we're going to have another review to see if there was anything there which sent Surreal to the bench to get tended to.
With Fairlife Chocolate Ultra Filtered Milk, you'll savor every chocolatey sip. With 50% more protein, 50% less sugar. It's irresistible. Fairlife.
Gillette Labs is just a fancy-looking Fusion 5? No, it ain't. It's Gillette's best shave, and its ultra-sharp blades last 50% longer. Hey, Joe, come feel my cheeks.
Dad.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
Keeps getting better.
We've already told you about our game at 3 Eastern time on ABC. It gets pretty big at night, too. Saturday at 8 on ABC in the app. Women's College Game Day crew will be at the Maravich Center in Baton Rouge to get you set for the biggest game of the night. Joyce Edwards, number 3, South Carolina. Flau'jae Johnson, and number 6, LSU. Keep an eye on
right
two
there,
Surreal.
what you're looking at. I mean, Brown does get his elbow into the neck area of Surreal. I think that's
the
what
common foul on the floor has been confirmed.
He's going to stay with a common foul.
Baseline.
Shot right in the throat. Breathing may be a little difficult for Santos Surreal. So Brown goes to the bench, Jimmy, with the fouls. The bigger issue is you got a 6'11" guy that you need on the floor on the end of the bench.
He'll be back.
He's moved off the end of the bench. Bad pass out of the timeout, and it's a turnover.
Florida puts size on the ball, baseline out of bounds under. Put a lot of pressure on you to get a clean look.
8 turnovers in the game for Georgia, 9 for Florida.
Condon can go either way up top with that ball in their zoom action.
His escape valve is Chinyalu, who throws an elbow to get some space cleared, and he knocks it in.
I say it every game. His shoulder scores, his paw just finishes. Exactly what happened on that play.
Lead back to 17, and another miss shot in the paint for Georgia. It's their 14th tonight that they've missed inside the paint. Flan kisses it in, and just like that, we're back to a near 20-point game.
But Boogie Flan has become a winning point guard at the highest level. I think he's an all-SEC defender. He's got a low turnover rate, shooting about 60% from the two-point part of the floor the last 5 games.
Pretty play by Millender. And to your point on Flan, Jimmy, ironically, he doesn't have any assists. There you go, right to Condon. The fast break story continues for Florida.
Ravi, that was in 3 seconds. Rip the ball out of the net and put the ball in the net at the other end. That overall team speed by Florida is electric.
Stag, way too strong. And they're going to keep it here. It looks like they're going to get Howe coming from behind, and they will.
You say a lot about Florida. They compete their tails off, man. You score on them, they run that ball right up your backside, and it's multiple guys that get out in front of the defense. Their throw-ahead pass ability is as good as I've seen in the college game this year.
And so many of them can make the pass.
Yes. And I've seen Michigan do it some as well. You score on them, they get it out of the net, and they're scoring within 3 seconds, and Florida's done it 2 or 3 times in this game. Rebounds for our guy.
Chinulu?
Yep, 14 or 15.
15.
Yep. He wakes up with 10. Just a matter of how many he's going to tack onto that over the course of 40 minutes.
Klafschar bodies his way into a shot that Chinulu had his 16th rebound on.
Got to shoot it. Ball didn't hit the rim.
Yep, 1 second, Flan. That's on, and that's in.
Boogie, oogie, oogie.
Biggest lead of the night. Mike White just staring out at the court as he's watching his team just get buried by Florida's execution on both ends.
Boogie Flan came in tonight, Ravi. He had missed his last 17 shots from 3. But sometimes when the shot clock's winding down, you don't think about anything, just rise and fire. Just when Georgia started closing down, the 3 ball for Florida, not their strength on the year, has become one of their strengths here in the second half.
Sure has.
The Boogie Wonderland, 0 in blue.
Looks like 9 of the first 10 draft picks currently are freshmen. You take a look at bracketology with Joe Lunardi. Big Ten and the SEC each with 10 teams. And the Big 12 is very top-heavy for sure, with the most teams that have a chance to win it. You look at our conference that we cover, the SEC. Florida clearly playing this way and playing the way they have the last 3 games can win a title. Any other teams in our conference?
Well, I think, no, Florida's the one right now that you could say, I'd take them to the Final Four if you're looking for the team out of this league. The Big Ten has, I think, probably 3 teams that can win the whole thing. The Big 12 probably has 4. I'm not sure they have 5. We know that the UConn out of the Big East can win it out of that league as well. Duke, I think, could also win it.
Yep.
Probably down to a short list of 8 or 9 teams this year right now.
Kansas is playing really
well, no doubt,
aren't they?
Yeah. And Bill Self, National Coach of the Year, because he has 2 teams that he coaches,
yes.
one with DP, one without, and that is so hard to maneuver, and Bill Self has done it.
Georgia goes zone here against Florida to try to slow this machine down. They're going to be concerned about Hauken's cutting ability as Condon's looking for him with 4 on the shot clock, and the zone paid off. Catchings ran right into Klafschar. They should stay with Georgia.
It was a good physical swarm by Georgia defensively. All 5 guys basically were in the paint. We saw that work to perfection by Auburn in their win against Florida in Gainesville. Look at these gray jerseys. Condon puts that thing in the paint, and man, they just come and swarm at him. Multiple guys around him. Kane comes in from behind, chews it up, and stealing the rip on the far side by Catchings.
Off an out-of-bounds violation.
Well, we haven't gone to the replay review monitor in a couple of minutes, so we're going to do it here to see who this went off of. I thought it went off of Klafschar's foot. The initial call was out of bounds off Florida. Todd Golden said we should look at it, which means Todd Golden's got a video review guy saying we should look at it.
Yeah. Right, we were talking about Cannon Catchings. If that name sounds familiar, his Aunt Tamika Catchings, a Hall of Famer, 10 times WNBA All-Star. This is the play we're looking at. Went off the foot of Gray, right?
Catchings, yeah.
Yeah, went off the foot of Catchings, but his aunt is Tamika, the Hall of Famer from Tennessee, 4-time Olympic gold medalist. His grandfather, Harvey, who played college ball at Hardin Simmons.
Challenge following the review. It will be
Gave it to Florida, Jimmy, out of bounds off of Catchings. But continue the story on Harvey Catchings. I mean, there's some bloodlines on this team.
Yeah, no doubt. But this kid's grandfather, Harvey, I think over 2,300 career NBA points for the Sixers, the Nets, the Bucks, and the Clippers. His mom, Taja, talking to him today, was a first-team All-Big Ten performer at Illinois. So kid's grown up around the game a lot and it oozes talent.
Yeah.
6 Gray.
Clive is too strong. Loose ball. How about Flan going to get it? He'll kick. Houks. Chance. It's no good. We got a Catchings and, of course, a Wilkins on this floor. Jake Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins. That would have been one that Neek probably would have finished with a flush. Instead, it's Kane knocking down a three.
That's a good job by Kane. First of all, Ravi, to get back off the three-point line so he could step in with rhythm. If he's standing on the three-point line, that becomes a true catch-and-shoot shot, which doesn't go in at quite the high rate.
Condon, jump hook, good.
That is the answer, right? The pressure release from Florida on the road is to jackhammer that ball to the inside.
Condon now into double figures, Jimmy. He has had a couple of games in which his scoring has been way down, but double figures tonight. Back cut blown up. The Kane-Condon matchup's been the great subplot of this game. That time it was Hauk who came over to help out. Thomas Hauk out of Pennsylvania, whose star continues to rise. A terrific athlete, volleyball player. Tinchinulu fouled, and he will get a couple of free throws. Looks like the foul's going to be on Stagg. We go to the hump next, Jimmy, in Starkville. Nate Ament, Tennessee. They take on Mississippi State. That game will follow us. Saw that Tennessee-Kentucky game. Todd Golden 7-1 against Georgia in his career. Mark Pope's had his number when it comes to Rick Barnes. What's up with that?
I'm not sure.
Just done really well against them.
Kentucky's won. Yeah, just one of those. We talked about it Saturday. Kentucky, I believe, against Tennessee, since Mark Pope's been there, has shot like 47% from the three-point line. Only 37% against everybody else. But boy, to do that against a Tennessee stout defense. Speaking of stout, that's what's at the free throw line right now.
Tinchinulu knocks it down. Free throw shooting has been really good tonight for Florida, 8 of 10, obviously 80%. And you know the Rowdy Reptiles are getting ready to welcome Big Blue Nation on Saturday at 3 Eastern time on ABC. They will be camping out as Surreal's back into the game, and Tinchinulu picks up the foul. There have been a lot of dunks, and Georgia does dunking as well as anybody short of Dunkin' Donuts in the country.
They do. And Surreal's he's a very good roller. I mean, what I mean by that, a lot of guys roll and they don't even have a clue where the basketball is, but this kid has learned from last year to this year to roll out there, get his eyes on the ball quickly. Really good footwork. And there's Georgia. In NCAA ball, no one has dunked more than the DAWGS. I've heard it for 2 hours with the student section right behind us.
Fair point.
Have you not?
I have. Under 10 minutes, and that pass is going out of bounds. Condon Australian rules football, sort of a snap there, like a long snapper.
Todd Golden showing a lot of patience. But he may send a message to Condon with Brown getting ready to check in.
Yeah, Surreal insisted on it, handlocked and just stood his ground. Third block of the night for the Gators. He's feeling it. Yeah, no. Made his one after missing his prior, would you say 17?
Yeah.
Kane, splash! Todd Golden may want to talk it over, but no, Hauk all the way to the rack.
So that's the 4th time in this game Florida has scored within the first 4 seconds after a Georgia make.
Boy, that is a difficult shot that really could have turned this thing right back in the favor of Florida. Catching's buried it.
This is exactly the style that Mike White has in place and will continue going forward. Fast-paced offense, skilled guys, finesse basketball.
Lee to quiet it, no good. Rebound with a 13-point deficit. Blue Kane. He goes 1-on-4. He'll get his own rebound. Billender, that was an alley-oop. Surreal, hammered, and he's down again. Somto punching back tonight.
That's a lot of weight coming down on the wood at 265. We still got a game. Georgia fighting, scratching like a DAWG should.
9-time NBA All-Star, 7-time All-NBA team, Hall of Fame 06, 21, almost 22 points a game. It was the slam dunks, and involved in one of the great games of all time when the Hawks and the Celtics met. You saw a little clip there. Bird had 60 in the game. Wilkins had 36 and was overshadowed badly
By Larry Bird, 60.
by Larry Legend, 60. That was a game in which all the Hawk players were falling all over themselves on the bench.
Dominique left here as the Georgia all-time leading scorer. His son's got a lot of natural, raw explosiveness in his game as well. There's that numbered jersey retired to our right side.
Come on, Jimmy, you got a 12-point game, 7:22 to go.
Florida's been a little high on the turnovers tonight for them. They came in averaging 9. They're at 11 right now.
Georgia stays in the zone on defense.
Hauk is your playmaker in the middle of that zone, screening up top.
It's that shorter lineup with Lee, Brown, and Fland on the floor. They get it to Hauk, who throws the alley-oop. How well was that done?
To my point, just a matter of time before he becomes the playmaker inside that zone. Slid off to the elbow and a very nice touch finesse pass to the weak side.
Thomas Hauk, 5 assists to go with his 11 points. The blue blazer, as you said, with his versatility. Kane has it with 7 on the shot clock, and Hauk, he's got springs for legs. He's going to have to throw it up quickly. Draws iron, rebound, out of bounds. It'll stay with Georgia.
Hey, watch Thomas Hauk. He's all of 6'8" right here, but he's going to catch it, and he's going to read this slide to the baseline offside. And on the catch, he knows exactly where he's going with that ball. That's just a very tough touch pass to hand Lockton on the weak side, but Hauk knew exactly where he was going with the ball before the ball got in his paws.
Give Todd Golden credit, of course, and his staff for designing that play out of break. Need a 3. That one is off. And here comes Florida. Watch out. And they will chew a little clock. Down to 12, now 14 as Lee spins it.
That's a big part of his game. You go back and watch Florida for the most part this year. He's very good at grabbing paint and painting off that pressure.
Ellender, a blow by Rare, a boogie Fland.
Todd Golden lighting up Boogie Fland for not getting back and getting squared up on that ball. Get it to Hauk, good things will happen for you.
A chance here for the Dogs. They continue to get it to around 12, 13, and then the Gators find it. Oh, wow, a 3 in your face over hand locked in from Catchings.
And maybe could have been contact as well. Georgia comes in averaging 27, 28 three-point shots a game. You can never be surprised when they let one launch. They're tracking that number as well tonight.
Georgia stays in that zone. Brown spins, throws it up, and has a chance for 3. Isaiah Brown has come up with big shot after big shot in this game.
He is their best overall athlete for the Florida Gators. And in the first half, what could Brown do for you is knock down a three, but instead of shooting a three, he makes a play out of that corner, goes right into the chest of Surreal and takes away the shot blocking ability. He is a key piece. He's a versatile defender. He's tough. Got some physicality about him.
Toughened by his brother AJ, who was on this team and redshirting this year. Of course, that famous story of their game in the driveway when younger Isaiah was trailing, and it was 14-13. He said next bucket wins. He made it 14 all. AJ chased him in the house and said, we go to 21. We are not done right now.
Well, he's also got a lot of experience with the Puerto Rican national team. So you start talking about, as Seth did in the studio, 8 guys, and he's one of those 8.
That was just a big bucket, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Millender being hounded by Flan. The alley-oop, beautifully done.
They just continued to really search and hunt for that two-man game, and finally they brought Chinyelu off far enough to allow Surreal to fly at the rim.
Yeah, there's a cut by Flan. And out of bounds to Georgia.
Yeah.
And that time they got back on defense.
Watch this last possession. Chinyelu finally comes off far enough on this next cut right here. Boom, Chinyelu comes down, and that allows Surreal to execute the two-man play out of the corner.
Do they get it to 10 with 4 minutes to go? Catchings. Oh, they got a foul on Brown. He is a physical defender, and he picks up another one.
Ravi, to your question, yes, a chance to get it to 10 as they go to that free throw line. And as fast as Georgia plays offensively and as loose as they are with that 3 ball, Todd Golden knows this thing is far from being put on ice.
Third foul on Brown. They were down 22, and a chance to get it to 10. You had said, I think the last thing you said to Mike White was, I know you're going to fight tonight. And he assured you were going to fight tonight. They've done that.
Currently being projected as a 9 seed in most of the brackets that I read. And man, this would be a huge, not only comeback, but a huge win to stamp on their solid resume already.
Most coaches will tell you, we get it to 10 with 4 minutes to go, we got ourselves a chance.
And certainly if it can be single digits as they go to the under 4 media timeout. They need a stop and a basket.
The zone has really changed things.
It has, and again, you got a couple of playmakers now with Condon and Houck are both very good, skilled passers. It's a 1-3-1 that pretty much becomes a 2-3, if not man-to-man, after a certain part of it.
Lee will launch a 3 and knock it down.
The 3-point shot of Florida tonight might save them. It's been a long time since we've said that about Florida this year.
Xavier Lee's third 3. He had been 13 for 53 in conference. Stagg drives right at Chinyelu, can't get it to go. Missed opportunity, another one in the paint.
What could have been single digits is now back up to a 13-point Florida lead.
Flan to pull up. Yes.
What an answer. What an answer.
From the 2 guys that have struggled shooting from deep and from the floor, Flan and Lee.
If you're a Florida guard, to quote John Calipari, you don't have to make them all, but you can't miss them all. And they have done their heavy lifting tonight from beyond that 3-point line. Xavier Lee, he shoots that thing with a lot of confidence, man. That rise and fire release rotation has been good for one in blue. And Boogie Flan, tough 2 or not, friendly roll to quiet the crowd.
31 points between them both.
That's
31.
Big.
It was good, and he's a good cleanup hitter for that team. By the way, this is the leadoff guy. Kevin, as a baseball guy yourself, you got Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan. The table setters have been the guys that have hit the home runs tonight for Florida.
Well, that's why Florida, you got to start looking at them at a legitimate national title contender, because the front line is the best in college ball. The guards are playing clean with it. They're hitting singles, and they just have to make 33% from three on the rest of the year, Florida, and they're right there with the best of anyone in college ball.
Great hands, another turnover, and Chinyelu leads the pack. Turnovers are just about even in this game. 12 for Florida, 11 for Georgia. It just feels like the Georgia turnovers have come at the worst time possible. And Florida looking to put him in a sleeper hold. Chinyelu uses the left.
How about the patience of Chinyelu? I think he felt that double team was going to come from the baseline side. So he pivots baseline, lets that baseline defender fly by, and then the easy two.
Jimmy, a 7-0 run.
Yeah.
This has been the story of the night. They've gotten close, but not nearly close enough.
Yeah, they've hung in there on the boards. Georgia has, only down 5.
Yeah, here's another turnover. Bounce pass ahead, Fland. Up and in.
I believe now that's 6 or 7 times in this game Florida has gone coast to coast and scored within 3 seconds.
Millender, he got bumped. That's a bad foul on Chinyelu.
Now, if you watch Chinyelu, he's growing in so many areas. But he knows the double team's going to come from the low side. So when he turns, stop, pivot, let it fly by, finish on the left side. And then the pass from Xavier Lee, scoring off their defense. They are so good at those throw ahead, guard to guard, forwards to guards, guards to forwards, interchangeable in their conversion offense.
Yeah, well said. And how about Xavier Lee?
Thank you.
18 points, 6 assists,
Yeah.
0 turnovers. That's
Man.
a near perfect game.
Yeah, especially on the road. Jimmy talked about it a lot. I judge guard play by what you do on the road in conference play. Yeah, Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee have been Final Four good tonight.
If you think about Fland, Lee, and the 12 points from Brown, so that's 45 points between those three. And then you go Chinyelu, Hauk, and Condon.
Yeah.
What is that, 28 they have? I mean, the 3 shooters have outscored the big guys, and that's the story coming in. They haven't been able to make shots.
I said it earlier, Florida's only been out-rebounded 1 time all year. That was game 1 against Arizona. They've only allowed 7 fast break points per game over the last 9 because they're clean with the ball.
They're +5 on the rebounds tonight, which by their standard is nothing. Condon all the way, and he throws it down to get him points 82 and 83.
I don't like the word elite because everybody's elite at something, which is not true, but Florida is truly elite at their bigs cutting without the ball.
Right, so everybody's elite at something, well, but that's not true.
It gets used so much. Like, what's truly the definition of elite? Is it just really good or not? But they are actually elite at cutting. Their bigs are without the ball. Man, what a game we're setting up this Saturday, right?
Yes, sir.
Kentucky at Florida, ABC, 3 o'clock Eastern. First place in the SEC will be on the line.
In the end, with no Jeremiah Wilkinson, the talent level of Florida is better than the overall talent level for Georgia. And they really fought, man. They threw punches, but they never really got it to a manageable deficit. And they've never led in this game.
Let's look one more time.
5th time they've gone to the monitor in an 83-66 game.
Is Florida basketball off an out-of-bounds violation? That play is
Yeah, certainly not having Jeremiah Wilkinson did not help Mike White tonight. It's interesting. Jeremiah Wilkinson played really well on Saturday.
Played great. He had 18 against
points,
LSU.
28 minutes, and then comes up with a sore shoulder. Why he's not playing tonight, which really frustrating as a coach to have a guy full speed on a Saturday and not be ready to go on a Wednesday.
Well, this was originally called for Florida. It looked like it may have gone off of Hauk's hands. The risk in reviewing all these things is many times it reveals something else, which they then can't call.
Yeah, it does.
But it's quite clear that Blue Cane grabbed the arm of Thomas Hauk, which caused that ball to go off his fingers. So they're not going to call the foul on Kane, but they are going to give the ball to Georgia.
That is a successful challenge by Georgia. It will be their ball on the baseline with 20 on the shot clock.
Kind of been a role reversal tonight from Florida, correct?
Which I would think is about as good a news as you can get if you're Todd Golden. Like, wow, we can win that game too.
No doubt, especially considering on the road, those guards stepped up. Georgia had a good game plan coming in, going under, and Florida made him pay. A lot of times in ball games that what sounds cool and smart is to say, well, Florida they were the tougher, harder playing team. That's not the case tonight. Georgia was just as tough.
Yep.
They played just as hard. Florida just played better. Mike White had his guys ready to go, but he was up against a team right now. This thing's got to come to a close. Like, just enough is enough. Georgia up against a team tonight that's playing as well as anybody in college basketball. Arizona, Kansas, UConn, Purdue, Michigan, it doesn't matter. These Gators have got their chomp right back in their DNA.
And their fan base is here, and Chinyelu is celebrating with them.
Yeah, BTA.
You want to expand on that?
Nope.
Okay.
Self-explanatory.
Like a BLT?
Well, one thing about Florida, they do have a swagger, moxie, confidence about them no matter where they go. And that's what makes Florida Florida. It starts with Todd Golden, and they don't apologize for it, nor should they.
He doesn't apologize very much. They've made 10 threes for the third time this year.
And he's saying enough is enough. Just play smart, finish this thing out. Let's get out of here and get ready for Kentucky on Saturday.
You expect it to be a little different story, Jimmy. Their last 4 games, the Gators have dominated all of them. You're looking at an average margin of victory in the last 4 games over 25 points. 25 they've beaten their last 4. 27 currently. Mike Notaro here joining us, and the notes from Notaro have been,
for the most part, accurate.
Yeah.
I know the game obviously is dragging the last 40 seconds. It doesn't matter. You still have to call fouls when they're fouls.
I would agree. You don't have to ask for reviews.
No. And here comes our favorite Florida Gator. Ollie, here he comes.
All 7 foot 9 inches of him as Clavshar comes out, and Olivier Rioux comes in, and everybody, including C.J. Ingram, who just gave him a low 5 on the way by, smiling. Rioux is giggling, I think, out there.
If you can be as nice as you are big, he taps out in that. There's not a greater kid that I've come across in a long time than Ollie Rioux.
And Ollie picks up the board.
7-9. Takes him a while to get on the floor, but it was the first one to the floor. Florida took care of business, Ravi.
They sure did. They win it by 20. And they have won their last 4 games by a total of 109 points. Massive. That'll do it for a Stegeman Coliseum for Jimmy Dykes. And our buddy Mike Notaro, our researcher, who has helped make us look smart all night. Scott Matthews, our producer. I'm Carl Ravitch. Everybody, the college basketball continues right now